What's going on, Ranger fans, and welcome back to another episode on my channel. As always, I'm Jay, and guys, we've made it to part 3 of my 3-part series of fixing the Power Ranger films. And guys, if you haven't caught my last 2, go and check parts 1 and 2, where I outline the failures and the fixes of the Power Ranger films for Hasbro to follow through with, and that way they can make the best Power Rangers films ever. But in today's video, I'm going to be dishing out what plot points I want to see play out inside of the films. And before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button if you dig this video, and subscribe, that way you can get more of my content. But anyway guys, without further ado, it's morphin' time. So the first film is going to be another reboot, so it definitely should be somewhat of an origin story. You got Rita, who's being awakened from a slumber. She's got her minions, and they wreak havoc on Angel Grove and essentially the world. And guys, I would say in about the first half an hour, we should get the Power Rangers. They should all be kind of a nice, close-knit bunch of friends who kind of know each other and go to the same high school. Varying degrees of popularity, varying personalities, much akin to the actual original series, of course. They discover Zordon, Alpha, and the whole thing plays out much like the first few episodes of the Power Rangers. So they get their powers within the first half an hour, they fight monsters, and actually one of the coolest things that I think is that they should actually fight each of the minions that Rita has going on. So they should fight Babu and Squat, they should fight Finster, they should fight Goldar, Scorpina, whoever you want to call or put in there, and actually definitely have them go against Rita in some capacity. Now throughout the film, what I think would be really awesome, again as I alluded to in my other stuff, is if they actually provided more monsters. And one of the key things that I really would like to see is that the Power Rangers themselves are their own worst enemies in this. They're still learning the ropes, they're still learning to cope with their powers that they've just been given. So inadvertently, they fight all the minions who are actually collecting data on them, and then they actually create monsters based on each of the individual Rangers' fears and phobias. That would be fantastic. Each of them gets isolated at some point, and then the other Rangers in the team actually help them to defeat all these monsters who alone, they think that they don't have the power or the courage to be able to do that. Maybe Kimberly has this issue with an eating disorder or anything like that, or she's worried about being fat or being underweight or something like that. So you have the pig monster who just doesn't stop eating kind of be something that attacks her. With Billy, he's afraid of water and fishing and everything from way back in the episode, so you have some type of monster that has a water-based kind of motif that's kind of making him afraid and everything. It's like water's his kryptonite, which ironically he's also the Blue Ranger. And then of course Jason, maybe have him fight Goldar, maybe have him fight some type of villain that questions his integrity and kind of his smarts and his intuition and everything, and makes him feel this big. That would be subliminally an awesome thing, and I think that that would be incredible. And if you guys remember, this can definitely apply to the other 2 Rangers in Zach and Trini. Trini hated heights, and then in another episode, Zach actually hated being forgotten, which is another big phobia or kind of fear that can work well. So as that's transpiring, what I definitely would like to see at the end of the first film is that these other monsters come back together or combine and become kind of giant monsters, or you have them each become Cyclopses. That's right, guys. The big baddie from the original first part ending of the Power Rangers was Cyclopses. They had to defeat this all-powerful evil being that Rita Repulsa had summoned, and that guy was totally visually stunning. It was like the antithesis to the Megazord and did a lot of damage, and that would be awesome to kind of integrate that and kind of show them battle him and kind of fight and defeat them. And of course, at the end of the film, you have a little hint to who else but Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger. And guys, I know there's a lot of stuff going around of, oh, make Tommy a girl, do this and that, but what point does that serve? Why do we need to have Tommy be a female? Have it harken back to what was happening in the show? Again, guys, you're changing the fundamentals of the show. Aren't you supposed to be translating this for the fans first and foremost? The whole point of rebooting a film and doing it well is to take what was there, polish it up, dust it up, prop it up, make it even more enhanced of what it was, make it contemporary, and then add little tidbits to kind of widen your audience. Moving on to the second film, we make the bad guy primarily be the Green Ranger for 3/4 of the film. And of course, who's pulling his strings in the background? It's Rita Repulsa, and the Rangers are trying to fight him and work through other monsters and minions and everything. Maybe there's this type of plot that's going on where he's collecting something for Rita, and at the end, he ends up turning and actually fighting with the Rangers against Rita's powerful threat, and then he becomes a member of the team, and again, they defeat Rita. Now, what I think they could do is have Rita's brother, Revolto, come through and actually carry a message that someone's coming, and that someone, You guessed it, is Lord Zed. That way, by the end of the film, and if they fight Rito and everything like that, which I think should be the big monster, the next film, of course, is none other than the big bad himself, Lord Zed. In this third film, you have Tommy and the Rangers fighting all the monsters that Reed is throwing at them. Then finally, Lord Zed comes down from the heavens and is not playing. He does a one-on-one with Tommy, who's trying to fight him while the other Rangers are dealing with putties or whatever it is. Then all of a sudden, they see Tommy get struck down. And what happens? His powers get stripped from him because Zed ends up taking them. And this could go one of two ways. They kill Tommy, or they badly and mortally wound him, and the Power Rangers actually have to go on this journey to find something that can save him. They have to find this artifact, which actually will unlock the Thunder Zords and everything like that. And you guessed it, it's Saba. And the thing about that is Saba talks and communicates with everybody, and they end up fighting more bad guys and more monsters and getting their way back to Tommy. He gets revived as the White Ranger. Badass music, badass fight scenes. They wipe the floor with Lord Zed. And that's how that one ends. But anyway, guys, those are my quick thoughts and opinions on what we should see in the next Power Ranger films. If you dug some of the commentary I made, please be sure to drop a like and comment along with what else you would like to see in the films down below. And guys, again, if you like this video, click subscribe and hit that bell button. That way you never miss a moment of my content. But anyway, guys, that's a wrap on my 3-part series of fixing the Power Rangers films. So Hasbro, make sure you're taking notes because us fans want to see some awesome stuff. And I think I've just pointed you in somewhat of the right direction. Just saying. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for joining me, and until next time, take care. Bye.